तो पता चल जाएगा क्या एविडेंस है।
अच्छा, अब हम विद्यार्थियों से पूछते हैं, सवाल किसने पूछना है? आप पूछिए, आपका हाथ पहले गया। इधर माइक दीजिए प्लीज। आप जल्दी जल्दी हाथ उठाइए, जिनका हाथ पहले जाएगा उनको माइक जाएगा।
I have a great respect for your wisdom
Plus,
and all
माइक
these things.
बिल्कुल
Hello,
पास रखिए।
I have got great wisdom for your all these things. मेरा एक सवाल है कि I have given vote thrice to your predecessor, Mr.
नहीं,
Navjot Singh.
एक मिनट, प्लीज कीप क्वाइट, वी कांट हियर हिज क्वेश्चन। आप शुरू करिए फिर से।
I have voted thrice for my MP who was your predecessor from your own party. He has openly raised the issue that he had got problems with state government to implement his progress development plans, and also from his colleagues. What will you do? Are you sure that you are going to get support from the state government?
देखिए, मैं आपको एक चीज बताऊं, जब आप राजनीतिक जीवन में आते हैं ना, तो पॉलिटिक्स के बारे में ये कहा गया, इट्स द आर्ट ऑफ द पॉसिबल। पॉलिटिक्स की एक कला है कि आप में इतनी क्षमता होनी चाहिए कि आप सबको साथ लेकर चले, और इसलिए ये कोई डिफेंस नहीं होता कि मैं करने की कोशिश करता रहा और कर नहीं पाया। लोग अपेक्षा करते हैं आप करके दिखलाइए। तो इसका ये अर्थ है, मैं जैसे उदाहरण देता हूं, आपके जितने भी अच्छे प्रधानमंत्री रहे, स्टेट्स में मुख्यमंत्री रहे, जिन्होंने अपने फुटप्रिंट्स छोड़े कुछ ना कुछ करके, वो लोग इतिहास में रिमेंबर्ड होते हैं। मैंने प्रधानमंत्री मनमोहन सिंह जी को पार्लियामेंट में एक दिन कहा था कि नाउ द टाइम इज कमिंग टू अ क्लोज, हाउ वुड यू लाइक टू बी रिमेंबर्ड? एज समबडी हु स्टेड इन ऑफिस फॉर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम, or somebody who left his footprints behind. So you have to make a judgment. So for all of us,
उनका जवाब क्या था?
वो बोलते नहीं है। तो इसलिए मैं मानता हूं कि हर एक रिप्रेजेंट नियत बहुत अच्छी भी हो, ईमानदार भी हो। आर्ट ऑफ द पॉसिबल यह है कि मैं 10 काम करना चाहता हूं जो 7 बिना झंझट के हो सकते हैं, पहले वो तो मैं करवा लूं, और फिर 3 को लेकर दबाव बनाऊं, पब्लिक का दबाव बनाऊं, पब्लिक की जो नहीं मेरे साथ मानने को तैयार उनके ऊपर दबाव बनाऊं। राजनीति में आपको अपने अभियान चलाने का भी, वो भी एक राजनीति का हिस्सा होता है।
Just one minute more. मोदी साहब इज अ ग्रेट पर्सन। उन्होंने गुजरात में बहुत डेवलपमेंट किया, एंड एमपी में भी बहुत ज्यादा डेवलपमेंट हुआ, वेयर योर गवर्नमेंट्स वर देयर। इट मींस कि दे वर एक्सेप्शनल, दैट इन स्पाइट ऑफ बीइंग नॉट कोऑपरेशन फ्रॉम सेंटर, दे मेड लॉट ऑफ डेवलपमेंट्स। इट मींस द अदर लाइक पंजाब गवर्नमेंट, इट मींस दे आर नॉट कैपेबल ऑफ सच थिंग।
देखिए, ऐसा है कि आप स्टेट्स को कंपेयर नहीं कर सकते। पंजाब जो है ना, कन्वेंशनली मध्य प्रदेश की तुलना में या अन्य राज्यों की तुलना में ऑलरेडी काफी एडवांस स्टेज थी। मैं 2003 में मध्य प्रदेश का इंचार्ज था। किसी गांव में 2 घंटे से ज्यादा बिजली नहीं जाती थी। लोग सलाह देते थे कि सड़क पे मत जाओ। अब पंजाब में कैनाल इरिगेशन 20 साल पहले बन चुकी थी। पंजाब में रोड नेटवर्क हमेशा कन्वेंशनली बहुत सुधरा हुआ था। तो पंजाब के पास एक एडवांटेज है कि पंजाब में जब आप विकास करने जाते हो, मैं आपको बता दूं, मैं सारे देश में घूमता हूं, पंजाब और गुजरात आज भी इंटरसिटी कनेक्टिविटी बाकी देश की तुलना से यहां सबसे बेटर है। इसलिए पंजाब के पास जो एडवांटेज है कि पंजाब ऑलरेडी डेवलप्ड स्टेज थी और एग्रीकल्चर की स्थिति अच्छी थी। पंजाब के पास एक दूसरा एडवांटेज भी है, 50% लोग ऑलरेडी शहरों में हैं। पंजाब को उसका लाभ ये उठाना है, एजुकेशन, इंडस्ट्री, बॉर्डर ट्रेड, ये जो एरियाज अनएक्सप्लोर्ड हैं, अगर हम उसका एक्सप्लोजन एकदम कर दें तो पंजाब की ग्रोथ एकदम ऊपर और बढ़ती है।
आप पूछिए।
नमस्कार। My question is post-election scenario. If BJP has to look for coalition partners, would it be operational convenience or ideological affinity?
You see, I think your question is increasingly becoming infructuous because for 2 reasons. the trends that at least I am getting, particularly after TDP also joining us, it seems reasonably possible that we'll cross the halfway mark. At best, you can say, from an adverse point of view, we may narrowly miss it. That's what our critics say. Who else has a chance of forming a government? A party which is not likely to touch 70 seats? A third front where the largest one may be 25 seats? So the only realistic chance of anybody forming a government this time belongs to the BJP and the NDA. Don't forget one fact. In India, there are a large number of political parties in states who in the past have worked with us and occupy the non-Congress space in their states. Speaking for myself, we are open to, even if we get an absolute majority, consolidating those parties. Because you may win an election, but if you have to deliver, you have to have a very cogent kind of a combination behind you.
Let's get a question from the back.
Excuse me. Don't you think, you use the word consolidation, consolidate those parties, Don't you think, in terms of past experience when Atalji was Prime Minister, I think our experience with TDP was not very fruitful, It was not very fruitful.
I'll tell you. You see, an alliance or a coalition government at the center depends on how strong the nucleus of the coalition is. अब कोई 120 सीट वाला न्यूक्लियस हुआ या 70 सीट वाला हुआ तो वो कोalition sustain नहीं कर सकती. But if the coalition, the center stage of that coalition is controlled by a party with 230 or 240 seats, then it's inherently more stable.
And please try to avoid follow-up questions because we want to get as many people in as possible. पीछे से, हाँ जी, आप blue shirt वाले, माइक है? आप बोलिए, माइक है? किसके पास माइक है? जिसके पास माइक है बोलिए.
नमस्कार जी.
एक मिनट, और जैसे आप खत्म करेंगे किसी और को माइक दे देना. पूछिए.
हाँ, मेरा नाम मुनीश है जी. आप वैसे तो अमृतसर से जीतकर जाने वाले हैं, तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि आपके पास अमृतसर के लिए क्या मास्टर प्लान है, यूथ के लिए, इंडस्ट्रियल के लिए और टूरिस्ट के लिए, जैसे हब बनना.
काफी इलैबोरेट किया है.
हाँ,
अभी
उसके लिए
यही
आप थोड़ा
सवाल पर
explain
अभी
कर दीजिए.
पूरा इलैबोरेट किया, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर भी, एम्प्लॉयमेंट के लिए भी. आप पूछिए. आपको प्लीज, जो आप सवाल पूछ रहे हैं तो आपको सुनना भी चाहिए कि पहले क्या बोला हुआ है, तो वो बार-बार रिपीट करने की कोई जरूरत ना हो. बोलिए.
If you people win in India, what are your future plans for the next 5 years? Your future plans for next 5 years.
देखिए, इस वक्त जो फ्यूचर प्लान्स आप कह रहे हैं ना, there are 3 major challenges if there is a new government. The first is to rebuild India's economy. I think what suffered the most in the last few years in India's economy, the UPA inherited a 8.5% growth rate. They'll probably leave behind a 4.6, 4.7% growth rate. You have to rebuild the investment cycle in India. Secondly, in many areas, India's security is becoming vulnerable. You've seen the rebuilding of the Maoist activity in some areas. And the third area, I think, is levels of probity in the government, where institution rebuilding has again to take place.
अच्छा, next question. Who has the mic? अच्छा, बोलिए.
सर, मेरा क्वेश्चन है
अच्छा, माइक ऊपर रखिए.
स्टूडेंट्स के लिए कि जो हमारे पंजाब में मास्टर डिग्री, एमटेक, बीटेक वगैरह करते हैं, आज तक उनका अप्लाई नहीं होता रहा है. कोई गुड़गांव जा रहा है, कोई नोएडा, कोई हैदराबाद वगैरह जॉब के लिए. हमारी पार्टी के पास, बीजेपी के पास पंजाब के लिए ऐसा कौन सा प्लान है कि उनकी जो जॉब प्लेसमेंट है वो यहीं पे हो?
और उसके साथ जुड़ा हुआ आपके पास क्वेश्चन है एजुकेशन. आप इनको माइक दीजिए. सामने इनका भी सवाल इसके साथ जुड़ा हुआ है. दोनों इकट्ठा सवाल जवाब दे सकते हैं. आप खड़े हो जाइए. हेलो, आप बैठ जाइए, आप खड़े हो जाइए. आंचल, आप खड़ी हो जाइए.
My question is regarding
Put the mic
what are your
close to you.
plans and
जो भी
targets.
सवाल पूछते हैं, जब माइक आपके पास मिलेगा, बिल्कुल मुंह के सामने रखना.
Your plans and targets regarding the education field. Any specific target or plan?
Actually, the question that I had asked her previously she told me the question she wants to ask is, she's doing BCom right
Yeah.
now. She feels stuck. There are no options. There are no other fields in Amritsar of colleges that she could choose from. She feels that it is so limited that the students today of her age have no other choice other than to go into the 2-3 subjects that are available. There's not enough variety for them to choose from.
जो पहला सवाल था आपने पूछा जॉब प्लेसमेंट्स का, मैंने दूसरे संदर्भ में अभी आपको उत्तर दिया था कि अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट एक बहुत बड़ा इशू है. हम कहीं ये नहीं सोच सकते कि बच्चों का अपना परिवार है, कि कोई खेती में है या कोई दुकान चलता है, बीटेक एमटेक करने के बाद वो बाहर जाने में कोई इतराज नहीं है जहां अच्छी नौकरी मिलती है. लेकिन पंजाब में एक समय इंडस्ट्री खूब थी. पिछले कुछ वर्षों में केवल पंजाब में नहीं, पूरे देश के अंदर इंडस्ट्री का डिक्लाइन हुआ है. बड़ी इंडस्ट्री फिर भी सरवाइव की है, लेकिन जो छोटे उद्योग और मध्य दर्जे के स्मॉल एंड मिडिल लेवल इंडस्ट्रीज हैं, वो इकोनॉमिकली वायबल नहीं बची. और इसलिए अगर आप जाकर देखेंगे तो पूरे देश के जो पुराने इंडस्ट्रियल एरियाज में हैं, ये सस्टेन नहीं किए. मैं ये मानता हूं कि अभी पंजाब के स्तर पे आपको जो एरियाज ऑफ कोर कॉम्पिटेंस है इंडस्ट्री के, पंजाब के, यहां टेक्सटाइल था, यहां लेदर का सामान बनता था, यहां एग्रीकल्चरल इम्प्लांट्स की चीजें होती थी. इन सब के लिए आज क्लस्टर्स बनाने की जरूरत है. और एक बार इंडस्ट्रियल क्लस्टर्स बने जिनका अच्छा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हो, तो आप दोबारा पंजाब की इंडस्ट्री रीबिल्ड करेंगे. आज थोड़ी लुधियाना में बची है, उसके अलावा बाकी पंजाब में रिलेटिवली कम हुई है. द रीबिल्डिंग ऑफ द इंडस्ट्रियल बेस ऑफ पंजाब इन इंडस्ट्री हैज टू टेक प्लेस. नाउ एज फार एज योर क्वेश्चन इन expanding education is concerned, I can tell you Amritsar has a very good university. It has some of the very good colleges, at least I have seen. In some cases, I think we need to upgrade those institutions.
But they are not happy with what they have.
No, you see, if you see some of the institutions, they aren't doing badly as far as Amritsar is concerned. But what you now require, both by the state and by the private partnership, the expansion of professional institutions here. Now, professional institutions have come up in several parts of India. Jalandhar, they've come up in a big way. Therefore, the facility in Jalandhar is much better than the facility here. It is those kind of institutions which will give you an option. So, instead of commerce, if you wanted fashion designing, if you want mass communications, these are all facilities which could well be available in this. And I think in a structured manner, you may have to literally allure even a private sector investment for coming in for the purposes of those universities. You'll have to make land available to them at reasonable cost so that their costs are reasonable, they don't charge an exorbitant fee. And I think some progressive measures like this should be thought around Amritsar. What is more important than this also is a point that I made earlier. You need institutions for skilled development in Amritsar. Particularly thousands and thousands of young boys and girls from the villages. You need to upgrade their skills so that they have a potential, even if they have to go out, to get linked to jobs.
Yeah, hello. My question is regarding Article 370 of the Constitution.
Who's speaking?
And yeah, me.
Acha, theek hai.
And second question is related to word secularism in the Constitution.
What
Being
is
a
your
student
question
of law,
on Article 370?
370, why we should provide 370 provision in the article of 370 to J&K only? It is a state, I think, personally feel, being a student of law, it is dominated by the Muslims only. Secondly, the word secularism is against Hindus, because whosoever favors the Hindus or Sikhs, they are, for the other parties, they are not a secular people. As per the Congress, it is so. I am definitely say that, being a student of law.
What is your question?
My question is regarding 370 and word secularism.
What?
Word secularism and plus 370, a special
Okay.
status to J&K.
I'll refer to your first question. My party's position on 370 has been very clear from the very beginning.
But you've never implemented it,
No.
having still being in power.
Madhu, you haven't given us a 2/3 majority to repeal it. you give me highest you have given me is 183 seats by which I
Then
can't
you
amend.
tie up with wrong parties, with bad
No,
coalitions,
no,
who
no,
don't
no.
let you
But I'll tell you.
fulfill your manifesto.
I'll tell you something.
Please.
I have been studying, examining, and re-examining this provision. In fact, one of my articles a few months ago, when this controversy had arisen.
Excuse me, listen. You really have to keep quiet. You're disturbing the audio. Please keep quiet so you can hear his answer and we can record it properly. आप प्लीज इतने जोर की बोलिए मत. रिकॉर्डिंग खराब हो रही है. आप चुप रहिए. अगर आपने बात करनी है तो आप बाहर जाइए. मैं आपको रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ प्लीज. ये रिकॉर्डिंग ठीक नहीं चल रही क्योंकि आप बहुत जोर की बोल रही हैं. Still not listening.
आप कृपया जो खड़े हैं बैठ जाइए. जिन लोगों को बाहर जाना है वो चले जाएं, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. Now on Article 370, the Constitution itself uses the word temporary. There's hardly a discussion in the Constituent Assembly. When Panditji was asked immediately after its enactment,
एक मिनट. ये अगर हम अपना देश अमृतसर को ठीक कैसे करेंगे अगर आप इतनी छोटी सी बात नहीं मान सकते कि आप चुप रहिए. आप अरुण जेटली आए हैं यहाँ बात करने के लिए. मैं सवाल पूछ रही हूँ यहाँ से सवाल, पर आप सुनने के लिए तैयार नहीं है. आप बोलते जा रहे हैं, बोलते जा रहे हैं. मैं आपको मिन्नतें करती हूँ प्लीज आप शांत रहिए. आप बोलिए मत.
see, the Article 370 was enacted as a temporary and transient. Panditji himself said, "ये घिसते घिसते घिस जाएगा."
किसा नहीं.
No, what happened? No, they had to dilute it. You see, for instance, the separate constitution remains, but the entry permit went. The post of the Prime Minister or the Sardar-e-Riyasat was replaced by Chief Minister and Governor. Some dilution did take place. Now today you have various thoughts. You have a separate status, you have autonomy, you have self-rule, and then you have separatism.
You have utter confusion.
You have utter confusion. Now, is the journey of this whole thought of separate status towards consolidation or towards separatism? I think we paid a heavy price for it. But that apart, Article 370 permitted that you could have a provision in the Constitution executively inserted, which permits the state to make discriminatory laws. So today, Article 35 capital A was inserted without being passed by Parliament, which says the state assembly can make laws and they won't be struck down on the grounds that they are discriminatory. What is that law? The son will inherit, the girl who marries outside the state will not inherit. So all the refugees who came from Pakistan to India, so if they came, let us say, to Pathankot, they'll be Indian citizens and they'll vote in the state assembly. But if by mistake they settled in Jammu or in the valley somewhere, the 1947 refugees, they won't get a state subject status. So their children can't get a job today, 67 years later. They can't get admission to an engineering or a medical college. They can't even vote in a state assembly. Now, India hasn't realized the enormity of damage that this provision has done, not only to India, but to the people of Kashmir. You tell an investor, I'll never allow you to buy land, but please invest in my state. He won't look at your state. Therefore, I think rather than have only an emotive debate, I hope India at some stage has a logical debate on this subject.
Or do you think it should be done arbitrarily?
You see, my party is in splendid isolation as far as this issue is concerned. But notwithstanding that, we prefer to stand by our viewpoint.
Yes.
Sir, when we are talking about basic amenities, when we are talking about the drug problem, and we are talking about education, so healthcare is one sector we cannot ignore. And sir, in your manifesto, I have seen for the Amritsar, you say you will be opening an AIIMS and primary and secondary healthcare will be accessible. So sir, my first question is, sir, we spend only 2 to 3% of our GDP on healthcare, whereas the West world spends around in 2 digits. So sir, if you come in the center, my first question is, will you be increasing this expenditure in the healthcare to a certain great level? Because sir, it's basically. Then sir, one more question, sir. Sir, AIIMS will open, you want to provide primary and secondary this healthcare, it's okay. But sir, we will be needing professionals. And in the current scenario, sir, the public sector is not at all economically attractive. So, sir, you will need to pump in some...
I don't think, as far as healthcare is concerned, the issue of public sector doesn't come in. In healthcare, because human life is involved, government should always have a role. Whether in business a government has a role or not is a separate matter. Now you have, in terms of healthcare, one, you need to multiply the number of doctors available in India. So you need more hospitals, you'll need more medical colleges and so on. Two, your primary healthcare system has to be government system. Center government, state government. You'll need specialty hospitals because a large number of people can't afford high medical bills. You'll need primary health centers from village to every other place. This has to be government supported, so the budgets have to go up.
Sir,
three, you'll require private healthcare for people who can afford it, but you require an adequate insurance system to back it up. Now, as societies grow, health costs go up, concern for saving human life goes up, and therefore the agenda for debate, instead from caste, religion and these issues, becomes education, becomes healthcare. The last US election was, the most important issue was Obama's healthcare plan.
Yes.
And I'm glad you've raised this question. Therefore, states participate, and one of our agendas really is that we have to carry India forward. Therefore, institutions like AIIMS, institutions like IITs, still with the support of the state, must be provided in every state. Supposing you had an AIIMS in Jammu and Kashmir, you had an AIIMS in northeastern states. And I have suggested that as a part of our BJP's manifesto, the Punjab AIIMS, because Chandigarh already has a very good PGI, could well be located in Amritsar. So I have already laid an agenda. Now when we were in power last time, in Delhi, we laid the foundation stones in 2003 of 7 AIIMS in India. So Jodhpur got an AIIMS, Jammu got an AIIMS, so 7 cities have got an AIIMS. So when you can do it in 7 new cities in addition to Delhi, and now I'm told the Delhi wing, Delhi AIIMS has opened a branch in Haryana also. Therefore, the idea of expanding it to 20 other states is not something which is impossible to achieve.
Sir, infrastructure is available to us. My point was, sir, the doctors, they don't want to go to the PHCs because it's not economically attractive. The private sector, it's very attractive. Either there is a brain drain.
Because doctors have a choice. You have shortage of doctors.
Yes, sir.
Therefore, create a surplus. So if they want to work...
Wouldn't it be the other way around, that if you are funding institutes like AIIMS in different cities, that you raise the salaries of the public sector doctors so that you get better people and pump in more money into places like AIIMS? Because AIIMS started off as an extraordinary institute.
I don't think salaries is the only issue. A very large number of doctors, compared to the private sector, are still willing to work in AIIMS because the kind of experience that public healthcare gives them, they work up to a particular age and then go to a private sector. Today, bulk of the doctors in the top hospitals of North India got their education in AIIMS.
Now, one question, a follow-up question from Ronan, is that the rules as they exist today for opening colleges, and particularly medical colleges or nursing colleges, they are restrictive in that they are supposed to be run by trusts. And then that has led to a plethora of dishonest trusts which funnel money in different ways, and people who want to do it honestly then do not do it at all. Do you think the BJP, is there any possibility
You see,
that
if you
BJP
want
will
to,
change
if
the
you
rules?
want to increase India's doctor strength by at least 5 lakh doctors, that's the shortage which they are suggesting. You'll have to think out of the box. And therefore, all top hospitals in India
Should be allowed to have colleges.
should be allowed to have colleges. Now, if they can't have colleges in the same complex because land in cities is not available, now transport connects you. Therefore, you can set up the college on the outskirts of the city and have a transport connectivity. So you can have transportation as a criteria. So if you have impossible
So
conditions.
will the BJP take initiative on this?
You see, speaking for myself, I've always examined this and I've spoken about this in Parliament. Because if you want to suddenly create 5 lakh more doctors in the next few years, you will have to break the conventional rule and think out of the box.
Okay.
So the property market is facing a huge problem about the taxes. The property market is facing a huge problem about the taxes in Punjab. So when you will be in the power, so what will you do for it?
Okay, as far as
Hindi.
the taxation issue